Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. We are just finishing up our weekly Selectmen's meeting here at the Public Safety Facility. Everybody's sort of clearing out right now. And
boy, it couldn't be any hotter, right? Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. We finished moments ago.
Yeah.
We had a number of our usual announcements, including a quick update about the sewer projects that are ongoing from the sewer director. There is a landfill groundwater. We just finished. Okay, I can't even think anymore. It's been such a long day.
I hear you.
We have a landfill groundwater monitoring forum tomorrow night, Thursday, November 9th at 6:30 p.m.
Well, that's not going to matter. This is not good.
Disregard.
Okay.
It'll be over.
It'll be over.
Forget it.
But
hopefully you went.
what's going on with it?
Hopefully you went.
Ground monitor.
Groundwater monitoring.
Important stuff, right? It's the drinking water.
It's drinking water, and it's it's.
No, it wouldn't be.
There's monitoring of the groundwater and in Long
Seepage
Pond as well. Yeah,
okay,
just to make sure it's all
pollution
free.
Got it.
Veterans Day observance ceremony this Saturday, the 11th at 10:30 at the War Memorial next to the town building. If it's bad weather, it's going to be at the Legion. Town offices are closed this Friday, the 10th. Children's Beach Boat Ramp is closed till January 15th. Citizen warrant articles for the 2018 annual town meeting can be submitted until November 20th at 4 o'clock. We have a special town election. Please write this down because we need people to come out and vote. On November 28th, for the supplemental appropriation for the fire station that was approved at this past Monday's town meeting.
So if they don't come out, what happens?
Well, if it fails, we're back to square one with the fire station. So we really need people to turn out and
Why are we doing it
vote
again when we could have just finished it off at town meeting?
It requires a ballot vote because it is a debt exclusion.
I see. Got it.
Okay, other business tonight. The board approved a letter of non-opposition for Green Lady, the medical marijuana dispensary applicant. They've been in here a couple of times now. The board, at the last meeting we had with them, had a number of questions, and those were answered tonight, so the board approved that.
Where's it going to be?
It's going to be at 11 Amelia Drive, medical marijuana dispensary.
Good-sized building?
It's a good-sized building, it sounded like. I think they said
They're
it
going to
was
be growing it
7,000 square
inside
feet.
too, right?
They have to grow it inside because there's a transportation issue of getting it to the island from off island.
Right. So when do we expect to see this?
Well, they
up and
have
running?
a pretty stringent state process to go through, and I think they may have started some of that, but they've got to finish it off, and there's regulations continuing to be developed by the Cannabis Control Commission, so blah, blah, blah.
Would we assume also that this probably will end up being a place where we can buy retail? Yes.
Possibly.
Possibly, right. I mean, for something
I forget if they addressed that or not, but I suppose anything's possible.
We haven't decided on how that's going to work yet, have we?
Well, the state hasn't decided on how that's going to work yet.
But we decided on where we're going to zone it.
Yes, and this is in
during
that
town
zone.
meeting.
Correct. This is in that zone, but we also have a temporary moratorium
We do, till next year,
till
December.
the end of December of 2018.
But they'll be up and running before then.
They probably will be up and running
Because
before
now
then.
there's nothing holding them back except the state telling them.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We did a bit of a recap of the special town meeting that was on Monday. I'm not going to go through all that because you can watch that on TV. But to make a long story short, the marijuana articles passed, and there were some other zoning articles and some real estate articles, and some passed, some didn't. I think mostly the real estate passed, the town-sponsored ones anyway. And that's all. There's going to follow-up happening now from the special. Then we had a pretty lengthy discussion about parking. And to make a long story short, it looks like we are going to be going down the road of parking management, I guess I would call it.
Mm-hmm. High-tech parking management.
High-tech parking management, and managed parking in some way through technology, and this will be valuing parking so that you essentially, in certain areas at certain times, would pay to park in certain areas of the island. And
certain areas like downtown.
Well, like downtown, right. I was trying to
obviously
dance around that a little bit,
okay.
but yeah, downtown.
So is this something that doesn't have to go to town meeting, the selectmen can do
The
this?
selectmen can do this, but it will require hearings, public hearings, so people can
You're
come
gonna have
in.
an issue with some commercial businesses that.
I imagine we will, yeah.
Now, does this, what does this do as far as building a parking lot?
Well, they were discussing that as well, and there seemed to be some opinions that we ought to have this sort of thing in place before we really get too deep into an intermodal transportation center that would have parking within it, paid parking within it.
Aren't we doing something over there anyway, though? That, what are we calling that
Harbor
area?
Place?
Harbor Place?
Well, yeah, so there was talk about and we have a consultant that's looking at the feasibility of the town owning or operating or whatever, the intermodal transportation center, which again would have paid parking inside. A parking garage would be in
It doesn't have to be a parking
there.
garage, though, an expensive one. Could it be just a parking lot over
Well,
there? Or no?
No, I mean,
It's not enough parking.
The owners of the property, which is not the town, have a number of options available to them, and maybe they would do a parking garage, and that doesn't necessarily need town approval.
Right.
You
Well, I
might
mean,
need
we're
a
only
little
looking
for
at how
height,
many
but-
months out of the year, Libby? I mean, I've been downtown, I had no
Well-
trouble finding parking right now at all.
Well,
None.
right
There's
now,
nobody around.
correct. I agree.
So,
I mean, there's an
and
issue with seasonality, yes.
Matt said he looked at parking in Bar Harbor, and they had a price in Bar Harbor, not
Mm-hmm.
down here, of $30,000 per space to build it. That's a lot of money. Imagine how much money that would cost us to build a parking lot.
Well, and there's
Big one.
not yet final about who would build it.
Yeah, that's
So-
the minimum, I'd say, we would pay on a parking.
There's a lot to look
Space.
into, which is why we've engaged a professional
Okay.
consultant to do this feasibility study. So stay tuned on this
That's
parking.
gonna be- yeah,
Because this is
that'll
going to
be
be,
interesting.
looks like we're probably going to be talking about what's called a parking benefit district at town meeting in April.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what we did tonight at the board meeting. Next Wednesday, we've got all of these usual announcements again. I'm getting kind of sick of saying them. We have a couple public hearings. We have a public hearing to determine the tax rate. Well, not so much the tax rate, what's called the tax allocation by classification, and the percentage of the residential exemption to be granted for 2018. This is an annual event. And we're going to have a public hearing again to consider expanding the senior citizen taxi rates.
Expanding them?
Expanding in terms of the rate is limited to
Oh.
a certain area right now, we would expand the area
Oh.
where that the rate covers. Okay, we're going to get hopefully we're going to get an overview from the transportation planner about the in-town bike path, specifically the area of it, what its plans are, what's been done to date, what remains to be done, how much it's going to cost, or estimated, how much we've already appropriated. Housing Nantucket is coming in. They're going to give a presentation on affordable housing education that they've been doing outreach on. And the biggest thing is going to be a discussion regarding our island home.
Ooh.
So I had a meeting today about that. We're going to have a bunch of documents in the packet, but really it's going to be kind of an open discussion with the board about how to
Proceed?
proceed.
I mean, are we gonna, does that mean, all options are on the table again?
Well, I mean,
Or are we-
I don't think there's a million options. There are some options. So they'll talk
Yeah.
about that and hear maybe probably from the public about what they think. It's complicated. It's not a simple answer, this island home situation. But we have a building that needs work, and we are working on getting it worked on. But even with some of this work done, there are still a lot of issues. There are staffing issues. There are regulatory issues. There is an issue of where it is in terms of storm surge, for example. And people say, oh, it'll never flood like that. Well, that's probably what they said in Houston and Florida
Well,
and other places.
I guess it could flood there, but I mean, it is pretty high.
Well, I'm not disagreeing. It is pretty high. But I'm just saying,
I mean,
in some
if
of
it
these other
floods there, we're in
places.
big trouble. This whole island would be in really big trouble.
Yeah,
if
I mean, it
flooded.
might not be, I'm not saying that the facility itself would flood.
Yeah.
But it could flood around there and make it very difficult to access. I mean, it's never say never. That's all. Anyway,
that right.
so there's lots of issues. So we're probably covered, and I'm not sure what sort of direction we're going to come out with, but it's going to be a discussion.
Okay, I look forward to the excitement.
Do you? Yeah, me too. It's certainly going to be exciting.
So why are we doing this meeting? Why are we doing this so quickly?
Because
You have to
I'm
go
going to be
somewhere.
off island tomorrow,
and
and we
we-
don't have work on Friday.
Oh, good, that's
And
right.
also, remember, there's no selectmen's meeting on the 22nd. Is that the day before Thanksgiving? Or
Right.
that Wednesday? That's
So
the
that's
date?
2 weeks from today?
Yes, no meeting then, but we are going to have a meeting on the 29th. I think we'll try to keep that a bit light, because normally we don't meet the
Just
fifth
leftovers.
Wednesday.
Let's call it,
Let's call it leftovers.
isn't that nice?
I like it, Gino. Well, maybe we could bring our leftovers. No, they'd kill us if we ate in here.
Oh, that's right, you're not allowed to bring food in here.
Yeah, and by the way,
But it would be nice.
I'm going to mention a little something that I heard about
All
at
right.
town meeting.
Shoot.
Wine isn't really allowed at town meeting.
Ooh, are we, seriously?
Hmm?
Somebody brought wine?
Well, apparently, there were some wine drinkers. I won't say where they were, but you did not go unnoticed, wine drinkers.
Were they
And boy,
toasting? Toasting to the
maybe they
articles?
were, maybe they were. Wouldn't I have loved to have some wine
Yeah,
down
if you're not
front?
gonna, right.
But, it's really just not, it sounds fun and all, it's not that appropriate.
No, it isn't.
You're also not supposed to eat in the auditorium. Because you know what happens? You eat and your crumbs get all over the place and it gets in the seats and it gets
Yeah.
on the floor and somebody has to clean all that up.
Right.
It's crumbless things are probably relatively maybe okay, but I know they don't like eating in there.
Right, right.
Okay.
All right.
So
Well,
Gino,
listen, yeah, what?
not everybody got that robocall that we,
I guess
listened to
not.
last
But
week?
boy, did you get a lot of hits on that, on your show.
how many were there?
Over 500. Which
Over
is a record,
500?
Which is a lot for this show.
Wow, did you
Usually
hear
it's
that?
between 100 and 200.
Over
Yeah, that's a lot.
500.
But that's Doug Bennett, I mean, you put Doug Bennett in anything, you're gonna get a lot of hits.
Do you think it was Doug Bennett, Gino, or was it
Or
me?
was it Libby?
I thought you said it was
Well.
me. I'm sure it was Doug. Yeah.
Everybody wants to hear from him.
Everybody wants to hear from him. I didn't see him though at the town meeting.
No.
Interesting. Bye, guys. I did not see him there. Anyway, yeah, I'm going off island for Cape Cod Managers tomorrow. We are meeting in Sandwich,
All right.
and
We will be in Situate filming the soccer game, boys soccer playoff game live.
boys soccer. Congratulations.
Watch it on Gino TV
Good
live.
luck.
Yep,
I hope they win.
me too. We love our sports.
Valencia is waiting for me to give her this file.
All
I
right.
forgot all about it. Okay. So next, we're back normal next week.
Yep, next week.
Okay. Thanks very much. See you next time.